This is Joe Pryor of the virtualrealestateteam.com in Oklahoma City. It's February 2014. You know, since 2007, we've done an awful lot of short sales. You know, short sales are those sales where you're in financial trouble, you have a hardship, you can't pay off the mortgage with the current debt and with the back debt that you haven't paid from missed payments, and that the mortgage company allows you to sell it for less than what's owed. And, you know, that has been something that we're very grateful that we've been able to help so many people do that. You know, one of the things that has really made a difference in being able to do short sales or getting people to do short sales was a law that was passed in 2007. It was renewed one time, but it expired at the end of December. Now, this was called the Mortgage Indebtedness Relief Act. And what it was about is if you were a primary resident of that property, and let's say you owed $100,000 more than what the mortgage was that could be paid off, and so there was a $100,000 loss in terms of what the mortgage company was able to sell the property for. What happened was the mortgage company typically forgave you of that $100,000. In other words, in Oklahoma, they didn't come after you with a deficiency judgment, and the IRS wouldn't come after you. And that's kind of the quirky thing about our tax laws. You know, you would think losing $100,000 is a loss, but not to the IRS. To the IRS, it's income. And so what happened is that, oops, and here comes Henri, my little toy, and wants to get into the act. But what it meant is that the IRS said, you made $100,000 you didn't pay taxes on. And so what this act did is it forgave you on a first mortgage as a primary resident. Now, if you were an investor or if you had a second mortgage, that wasn't the case, because typically what happened at that point is that the lender sent a 1099 to the IRS and a 1099 to you, and you owe that money. And so, you know, right now the National Association of Realtors, some people in the Democratic Party are trying to reinstate it retroactively to January 1st. But what I'm going to tell you is I don't see any political will up there. In fact, I'll be up there again in May. I go up every year with the National Association of Realtors, lobbying Congress on various issues. That's going to be one of them. But we don't expect to see that coming back. So, you know, if you happen to be in a bad situation with a hardship and you have a pretty good sized loan, you need to prepare for this. You need to understand that, you know, a short sale may still be something that you ought to do because, you know, if you do a short sale, typically the loss is less that's reported to the IRS than in a foreclosure. And of course, a foreclosure is worse on your credit. But you may still have a tax bill coming from the IRS. And I've seen some situations where people owe $200,000, $300,000 on a second mortgage, and that's a lot of money. And so what I'm going to tell you is that if you're going to do a short sale, don't expect this law to come back. That's going to discourage a lot of people. I don't think that it should. I think what's more discouraging is how hard it is to deal with the lenders again and how long it's taking for this process. It's almost like the lenders don't want to do it. So I'm going to make a suggestion to you because I am not an attorney, I am not a tax attorney or a CPA, is that you need to seek professional help besides a realtor that's going to list your home. You need to talk to people. They're going to tell you, you know something, you may need to consider bankruptcy. Now, it's a terrible thing. I wish that short sales and this law were permanent because I think you're doing the right thing for your house, for your family, for your neighborhood, for your community, but I'm sorry, the political will is not there and it's not going to happen. So it's going to make things a whole lot more complicated. It's not like we're out there really trying to get as many people to do short sales, and of course there are fewer short sales now, but don't expect the Mortgage Indebtedness Relief Act to come back, and because of that reason, you may need to seek some attorney's help in terms of what you need to do to avoid a very, very large tax bill. This is Joe Pryor at virtualrealestateteam.com in Oklahoma City, where we deliver traditional real estate values at the speed of technology.